Hello and welcome to the Knucklehead Report for Sunday, August 21st, 2022. You're here with me, and I got Mike with me on the ones and twos.
Literally. And the 21st of August. Oh my god.
What does that mean? Oh, summer's over. I heard you say that earlier. You're just a pessimist, Mike. Come on.
Oh, Anyway. Christmas is coming.
So you're on the Knucklehead Report. We bring you all the knuckleheads from around the world. It doesn't matter what party you belong to, whether you're a conservative or a liberal, whether you're a bisexual, a transsexual, transgender, male, female, whatever you identify as, we're coming after you. And you're going to end up on the Knucklehead Report eventually if you're acting like a knucklehead. So here we concoct a little mixture of all the knuckleheads in the news. And we bring it to you in this congealed form. And I think it's going to be the greatest show on the internet eventually. So let's get our first story on the go. We got Salman Rushdie. Can we have that first story? There we go. Salman Rushdie. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Mike, thanks. Thanks for bringing that up. So, whoops, I clicked on something here. I've messed up too. Mike, you're fired. I'm just joking, Mike. I messed up though. What did I do here? Okay. I'm back again. Authors and friends rally for Salman Rushdie a week after the New York attack. So they had this rally in a park in New York City. Friends and fellow authors spoke out on Salman Rushdie's behalf during a rally Friday on the steps of the main branch. I thought it was in park. It was in the main steps of the New York Public Library 1 week after he was attacked on stage in western part of the state and hospitalized with stab wounds. So, if you don't know, Salman Rushdie was stabbed 11 times. The guy was just he got his liver, his eye, his throat, his arm. It was stabby, stabby, stabby. So, I just want to, you can take that down. I just want to give conjecture on this. I meant to point out that, his friends went and paid tribute to him. But the guy was stabby, stabby, stabby. He pled not guilty in court, and then he turns around and goes, I'm surprised he's still alive, in a jailhouse interview. The Hadi Matar was said to have said.
That's crazy.
He pled not guilty and said, I'm surprised he's still alive. And he praised the Ayatollah Khomeini in a jailhouse interview recently. Yikes. So thank God Salman Rushdie is still alive. I'm going to read the satanic verses as soon as possible. And hail to all authors. I don't know if you know this, but my email address is thewordforwordisword@gmail.com. For the, I stole it from William Burroughs, who's the greatest author that ever walked the earth and probably the greatest artist that ever walked the earth. If you don't know any of his books, go read some. Read something, you dummies. Yes, wait for me to shit on anybody watching. But you should read more books. I love to read, and it's the best. And the word for word is word. Because there's only one word in the English language for word, and it's word. And let's move on to our next story. Let's bring up the end. Trumpy, you're on my cubes. So, Trumpy is in a lot of trouble. He's got it coming at him from all angles. From the state level, from the federal level, and even in Congress. There's like this committee. If you don't watch the news, there's like committee that's like just going into the January 6th thing, and they're trying to blame it all on Trumpy. The Trumpy. All right, so Trump thinks the Mar-a-Lago search. I'll give you some conjecture in case you don't watch the news. I hope you don't, and that's why you're here. I'll fill you in. The FBI raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, which is a resort. People come there and stay. They pay to stay there. And looking for documents. And I have some breaking news on the documents, but we'll get to that in a second. So the FBI raided the estate, took a whole bunch of documents, and Trumpy's mad about it.
So the people basically said that Trump's people said they'd given all the documents back. And here are these 11 boxes.
Yes. They've referred to them as containers and or boxes on occasion. I will note, Mike. And all right, let's read on. I'll get to my breaking news here. I have some real good scoops on this story. Wild 2 weeks for Trump has reoriented his thinking about announcing a presidential campaign before the midterms. People who have spoken with him recently said. So, I don't think it's ever been a doubt in my mind that he's going to run again in 2024. Has there ever been a doubt in your mind that he's going to run for 2024, Mike?
He is going to try, no matter what.
Yes, he is going to try. His ego can't, he can't deny his ego. The day after federal agents searched Mar-a-Lago, former President Trump told a group of conservative lawmakers that being president was hell, according to 3 people at the meeting. Being the president's hell. Fuck. But to some, sorry, YouTube, I didn't mean to say that, but to some, he sounded ready to have the job again. He was not to be deterred, said Representative Randy Weber of Texas, one of a dozen of Republican House members who met with Trump on August 9th. He described Trump's state of mind in the immediate aftermath of the search as pretty miffed and measured. Everything that's occurred since that Bedminster, New Jersey meeting and since federal agents seized a trove... speaking of troves, I have a little trove. Seized a trove of secret and overly highly classified documents from his resort has put Trump exactly where he and his supporters want him to be. According to people close to him, he is in a fight, squaring off with Washington institutions and a political establishment he says are out to get him. Issues he brought up in the meeting with the lawmakers and in conversations with others. So I think I got to get on with this. I've received some his containers. I'm going to reveal one of his containers. It's just a little boxy, This is one of Trump's containers here. You'll see.
That looks weird. Really weird.
It was lent to me by a friend of mine in the FBI. It is pretty tiny. This is one of the boxes the FBI seized from Mar-a-Lago. One of the 11 boxes. They're called containers. So let's have a look inside. I can't show you the contents because they're very sensitive and we don't want to embarrass anybody, but let's have a look.
Who covered up the label?
It's it looks like hair. Human hair, it looks like.
Is it Macron's hair?
There's several strands of hair. They're all labeled. Let's just go through them here. We've got, yeah, you're right, Francis Macron. That one has a little pink heart on it. And we've got Boris Johnson. That's a little, tiny little one. I can't show you inside. We've got Merkel, the ex-chancellor of Germany. And this is getting very strange now. Why does he have locks of hair in these boxes?
Creepy.
That says, Elon Musk. His secret boyfriend. All right, that's enough. This is not a box from the FBI. We're just playing a gag. Bye. That was all a gag, folks. All right. Trumpy, you're in trouble, buddy. You got them coming at you from every angle. You got the fucking... I hear you want to take it to the Supreme Court. You know something about that, don't you, Mike? He wants to take it to the Supreme
Court. The court has ordered him to release his tax returns, finally, to the House. But Trump has 20 days to appeal, and the House wants to accelerate that, but Trump wants longer because he wants to appeal it to the Supreme Court.
Ooga booga.
So we all know that he stacked the Supreme Court with his guys, so you can see where this might be going.
Well, I think it's going to Trump being president again.
He definitely doesn't want his tax returns out.
Why doesn't he want those out? What's
I think
that
it's because he's probably poor.
He's proud to be poor? Is that what you said, Mike?
Probably poor.
Oh, he's probably poor. I thought you said proud to be poor.
You know, like his liquid assets are quite slim, like maybe just a mil or something.
That'd be funny if he was proud to be poor, though. All right. I ran across this story a couple of months ago. No, not that long ago. A couple of days ago. Yeah, there we go. Alex Jones, boy. Ooh, buddy. He's in a lot of heat. He's got like 40 grand in liens against him now. 47 grand. No, sorry. 47 million. Sorry. Anyway, I thought this was an interesting story. Alex Jones and the wellness I've never heard of this at all. Have you heard about this, Mike?
Well, he's an anti-vaxxer. I knew that.
No.
Remember?
Yeah, but this goes beyond that. This goes beyond that a bit. Alex Jones and the Wellness Conspiracy Industrial Complex. When Norman Schroyer, an anchor and reporter from InfoWars, took the stand last month in a defamation trial of his boss, and it was like a $47 or $48 million settlement against him so far. And there's still a few families that are going to get a bunch more money from him, apparently. The far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. He was asked about the many health products for sale on Jones's site. Among them, diet pills, fluoride-free toothpaste that Jones once claimed kills the whole SARS corona family at point-blank range. Toothpaste. Oh, I need some of that. And Instahard, a supplement whose purpose I probably don't have to spell it.
Instahard.
Instahard. Do you know if any of it's been tested to see if it's effective or any good at all? Asked attorney Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis, whose son Jesse was killed in 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Well, we test the products for ourselves, Schroyer said. You mean you take them? Yes. And you're still here? So it must be okay. Yeah, it works for me. The Jones trial was a spectacle, full of bizarre asides from Jones and embarrassing mistakes by his lawyers, and I was not surprised. One of the embarrassing mistakes was he sent all of Alex Jones's texts to the opposing lawyer, and they didn't go like, "Oh, it's discovery. You can't disclose any of that." Anyway, it was a really. You should look into that if you have any interest. It was a really big flub on his lawyer's part. I've never seen a flub like that in publicized courtrooms like that. His lies compound the grief of the parents who lost children at Sandy Hook. Last week, in the culmination of his first of several defamation cases brought by parents in Texas, award Heslin and lose nearly $50 million in damages. It's like 47.8 or some weird number like that. But it was what the trial revealed about Jones's finances and how InfoWars operates as a business that I found most intriguing. In particular, we saw just how staggeringly lucrative Jones's shtick can be. Shtick. Despite the parents' victory, how difficult it might be to shut down the money that flows to conspiracies like Jones's. I just want to get to the meat of the bones here of this article. I don't like Alex Jones. I saw him on a couple of Joe Rogan episodes, and there was this weird one with Eddie Bravo, and Eddie Bravo's bouncing all around the room, and he's supposed to be the container for Alex Jones, and they're both bouncing. It was a crazy episode, Joe Rogan. Jones was, so I'll get to the meat of the bones. Are you there? Yep. Jones was one of the pioneers in connecting out there cures to out there political claims, but he is by no means alone. Over the past decade, and especially during the pandemic, the internet has been overrun with influencers who peddle what some researchers have called conspirituality. This is a new word to me. It's my new favorite word, I think. Conspirituality. A worldwide view that meshes new agey ideas in alternative health with Trump era penchant for alternative facts. So, like, Trump made this, like, weird world where everybody's got a conspiracy theory and everybody's out to get ya.
Well, he made the population who wanted to believe it.
All right, that's good. I think they have the idea now that Alex Jones is a nutball, right? Let's just keep that word in mind, conspirituality. That's the word of the day. The word of the day is conspirituality. All right, you want to go to this story from Ontario?
Yeah, sure.
QAnon? Let's have a look at
a good
QAnon.
segue from
Alex Jones.
Alex
yes.
Jones.
So, QAnon is not just exclusive to the United States at all. A QAnon-inspired protest in Peterborough, Ontario, which is like the most, like, I guess they're pretty conservative there.
But it's cottage country,
Yeah.
pretty middle class.
Timothy Claudio sought to, I'm going to read on here. Timothy Claudio sought to arrest and alleges officers used excessive force against him.
He wanted to arrest a cop.
He wanted to arrest a cop. That's correct. Ontario's civilian police watchdog is investigating an arrest in Peterborough, Ontario on Saturday that resulted in serious injuries during a QAnon-inspired protest. What is QAnon exactly? Like,
You anonymous.
wasn't it something about
some
child stuff with
some
Hillary
person
Clinton
or multiples of people are posting conspiracies online under
Didn't
the
it start out
alias
as like
QAnon.
the Pizzagate shit or something?
Yeah, I think that was a 4chan.
Alright. What has become another example of far-right conspiracy theories having real-life consequences in Canada? A few dozen people had gathered outside the city's police station after an appeal from a QAnon conspiracy theorist who purports to be the Queen of Canada for citizens to arrest local officers. Protester Timothy Claudio said he was taken into custody after he and others sought to place members of the Peterborough Police Service under citizen's arrest. Not too sure if you can arrest a police officer as a citizen arrest. No. The 55-year-old man who also attended Freedom Convoy. Wonderful. There we go.
Freedom Convoy.
Protests in Ottawa earlier this year is new, now alleging police used excessive force. He said he suffers from a punctured lung and 4 broken ribs, none of which were, in his words, part of our plan. I bet it wasn't. That's why it's called a peaceful, lawful citizen's arrest, because we're tired of the tyranny within the Corporation of Canada, Claudio said. Claudio was among 3 people. Just hang on. Claudio was among 3 people arrested on Saturday. Peterborough police charged him with 2 counts of assaulting police officers. So what exactly was he arresting them for? Do we know what he was trying to arrest the policeman for?
This woman, the Queen of Canada, basically says that they can kind of quit following Canadian laws, and that the police
It's a woman or a guy?
Timothy? Well, that's a guy, but the person who told him to do this woman, the Queen of Canada. That's what she calls herself. And she leads this group who think they can quit following laws in Canada. And so this guy was going to arrest the police because they are unlawfully applying laws. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wacky. Not too sure what's going on there. All right. Away with you. Away with you, Queen of Canada. Isn't Queen Elizabeth the Queen of Canada? I'm not sure. All right, let's have a look at what we got next here. Oh, yes, and got a story at a High Park in Toronto here. Want to see that? Yes, there you go. Police officer is ticketing. Oh, it just says singular, but I think it's multiple police officers. Police officer ticketing cyclists and. Oh, I see that. One hit the car. I'm reading it all wrong. I've read this 5 times already. Police officer ticketing cyclist in park hits cyclist in bike lane with his SUV. This is one of several incidents of police targeting and abusing Toronto cyclists in recent weeks. So how do we feel about folks at home? How do we feel about cyclists? Because I know Mike knows how I feel about them. I hate cyclists. They do not belong on the streets of Toronto. In recent weeks, Toronto's High Park has become a battleground as cyclists try to ride in a car-free area safely, and police target and ticket them. But beyond simple speeding tickets, there's a darker side. Police have also been ticketing cyclists for trespassing. I don't get the trend. An off-duty officer physically assaulted a cyclist, and an on-duty officer blew a stop sign and hit a cyclist. A lawyer and cycling advocate, David Shelnut, the biking lawyer LLP, has been vocal about these incidents, calling on Toronto's mayor to take action and protect cyclists by hosting pop-up rides in the park and taking legal actions against the police who have been terrorizing the city's cyclists. Shellnut wrote an open letter to Toronto's Mayor John Tory earlier this week detailing the most recent incident. I'm being all dramatic. That's how the guy wrote it. A police officer who was driving his SUV in Hyde Park while ticketing cyclists actually hit one just outside the park while the rider was cycling in a bike lane. He was at a four-way stop with the officer and stopped. The officer turned right into him, failing to yield the right of way. The officer claimed that the sun was in his eyes. A supervisor came down to the scene, but it's still unclear if the officer was charged for the collision or effectively running a stop sign. When asked about the incident, a spokesperson for the Toronto Police Department said, "We cannot confirm that on August 22nd. We can confirm that on August 22nd, 2022, at approximately 6:30 p.m., a minor collision took place." I love how the cops play everything down. A minor collision took place. The guy's probably all busted up, has 8 broken bones or something, between a police vehicle and a cyclist.
I thought you hated them.
I do, but I hate cops worse than cyclists, of course. And a cyclist at the intersection of Colburn Lodge Drive and Center Road in the High Park area. There were no injuries reported. Oh, sorry. He didn't get all busted up. Traffic services are continuing their investigation. According to the police, no injuries. While the cyclist was uninjured, his bike sustained significant damage. $2,067.90 worth of damage, according to Shellnut.
Okay, this guy is a knucklehead. How much did he pay for that bike?
In damage. $8,000. Yes, you shouldn't buy that expensive a bike.
To ride in Toronto?
I also noticed that if you take his name and mix it up a little, it's Nutshell. In a nutshell, this represents the only collegian. He should change his name to Nutshell. Anyway, his name is Shellnut. See, you should change it to Nutshell. This represents the only collision we have heard of in the park for weeks, caused by the very people alleged to be there preventing collisions and dangerous driving, he adds. In no other incident would the sun being in his eyes be an acceptable excuse for any traffic violation, Nutshell says. It makes no sense that it could be an excuse in the situation, and from a vision perspective, sun in one's eyes shouldn't have made a cyclist only feet in front of a car invisible. Nutshell. You sound like a nutshell. Nut job. About it. Anything else good in there? That's about it, eh? So, anyway, the cops are cracking down, giving out tickets in Hyde Park, so beware cyclists, and I don't care about you anyway. You're all knuckleheads.
One person said that Bob pulled her off her bike.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, so don't go bicycling in Hyde Park is my advice to you. Let's get to... All right. So one of my favorite movies for sure is Misery. And James Kahn is spectacular in it. Kathy Bates, of course. But the now departed James Kahn has been brought up to my screen. You're on my screen. Where are you there? You're on my screen, James Kahn. Why did you make it to my screen? Let's have a look. James Kahn. legendary actor leaves behind legacy of abuse. So the guy from Sonny from Godfather 2, who beat the guy up with a trash can lid and survived Kathy Bates in Misery, is an abuser. The women he abused will remember a different man than the one widely praised by Hollywood for being a legend, and he's considered a legend. On July 6, 82-year-old American actor James Kahn, best known for his roles in The Godfather, Misery, and Elf, died from causes that have not yet been made public. The news of his death was reported around the world the next day. In coverage of his passing, the actor had been described as, in flattering terms, he has been hailed as a legend, a titan in the film industry, from people. Iconic, Entertainment Weekly, a key figure of American cinema, Paris Match, etc. The greatest emphasis has been on his role as mobster Sonny Corleone, The Godfather, 1972. I disagree. I think his best role is in Misery as Paul Sheldon. The writer, Paul Sheldon. The coverage reveals something that most women in the industry already know. The post-Me Too era has not prompted a larger examination of Hollywood's beloved cast and their treatment of women. Kahn, for all his iconic roles, was also emblematic of the violent male misogynist that has plagued film since its inception. Kahn was 4 times divorced, had a cocaine addiction, used prostituted women, was accused of beating his ex-wife and ex-girlfriend, and involvement in multiple violent assaults on other men. He had mobster friends whom he defended, and once lived in the Playboy Mansion, and apparently terrified his co-stars on multiple sets. He sounds like a wonderful dude. A few, but not all, of these allegations have received some attention in last week's articles venerating Kahn and his reputation as a man's man, tough guy, a bad boy. Many reporters have ignored or downplayed his behavior toward women and used euphemisms, particularly in reference to prostitute women, sometimes calling them girls. For example, referred to Kahn's decadent lifestyles and habitude of the Playboy Mansion. Where's the stuff about his son there? Bringing the girls. Where's that stuff? Anyways, his
right here. I got into the whole.
I'm looking for. Oh yeah, I got into the whole lifestyle. This is James Kahn speaking. I got into the whole lifestyle of girls and drugs, partying. You really gotta get caught up in it, and it's very destructive. The Times reports Kahn told Entertainment Weekly. Kahn briefly lived in the Playboy Mansion, and in 2010, people reported that his son Scott spent much of his unconventional childhood inside the walls of the Playboy Mansion. James Kahn told People, "I'd have Scott bring me girls. No one could say no to a cute little boy." Scott himself has acknowledged that their relationship was dysfunctional. I'd say so. All right, that's good. I'd say so. So, James Kahn, not a nice guy. Good actor, not a nice guy. Misogynist.
Knucklehead.
He didn't get Me Too'd. I like how he's getting Me Too'd after he's dead, not while he's alive. Like, what are you girls aren't doing it right. You're messing up. You're knuckleheads. Girls are knuckleheads. No, I'm just joking. But, yeah, it's weird that they let old... Remember when they Me Too'd John Wayne? Like about 5 years ago?
Lasted
he's
about
been
a hot
dead.
second.
He's been dead 30 years, and they Me Too'd him. I can't remember what it was about, but anyway. It's weird when they Me Too dead people. They don't care. The dead person doesn't care anymore. It's just embarrassing for the family or whatever, I guess. Is that it? You're just embarrassing the family?
I just think they just don't want their...
Well, you know, Godfather ain't going away. Misery's not going away, so their legacy will live forever as long as people exist and have videotape. All right, let's get on with this Elon Musk story. Elon Musk is a little bad boy. Is he on my cubes? No, he's not on my cubes. I gotta make a new cube for Elon here. Elon deserves a cube. I'll make a new cube with some new knuckleheads and Elon's gang on it. So, he says that smoking pot with Joe Rogan led to random drug tests for himself and his SpaceX employees. After smoking pot, I like how it's pot. I don't think I've ever called weed pot or dope pot. I call it dope or weed.
All right, Edward.
Never pot. Let's smoke some pot, man. Okay, get on with the story. After smoking pot on Joe Rogan's podcast back in 2018, Elon Musk and the whole of SpaceX had to go. It says in quotes, whole of SpaceX, but we'll get that. Had to undergo random drug testing for a year as required by the federal government. It's because it's like kind of like a government agency.
They've got contracts with the feds.
As required by the feds. The world's richest man revealed during an episode of the Full Send podcast. Even though the Joe Rogan podcast took place in California, where cannabis is legal recreationally and medically, it isn't legal federally in the United States, and SpaceX has federal government contracts. Musk said that he had got a lot of backlash for getting high in the podcast, including from SpaceX competitors. Following his appearance, Musk had to have random drug tests to prove he isn't an addict. Yeah. He talks very strangely. He uses like a lot. I'm quoting him here. I had to have like random drug tests and stuff after that to prove that I'm not like a drug addict, said Musk. Doesn't he sound like like he's trying to sound like Spicoli or something?
I think he sounds like a Valley Girl.
I had to have like random drug tests and stuff after that to prove that I'm like not a drug addict, said Musk. They drug test me for like everything and randomly. It wasn't like pick a day. I had like a whole year of random drug tests. Is that pretty good? Was that good?
Yeah.
Additionally, the whole of SpaceX had to go through random drug tests during the time back in 2019. SpaceX had roughly 6,000 employees, though it is uncertain how many of them had to go through drug tests. I'd say a bunch. They're probably getting 10%. I don't know why. Anyway, Elon Musk, you're making it on a cube. I'm making a new cube. I'm putting 3 cubes in the intro. That's good. Get rid of them. All right, let's get on to the sad news of Heger. Put that up. So it's been determined that Heger's death was accidental, according to coroner's results. At least she didn't OD on the cocaine and fentanyl she was on. Oh, boy. Actor Heger died from an inhalation injury and burns after a fiery crash 2 weeks ago, after the death was ruled an accident, according to coroner's results released Wednesday. Heger, 53, also had fractured sternum caused by blunt trauma, according to information on the website of the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner. A full autopsy report was still being completed, the coroner officer said. But I know for sure that when they initially found her, she was found to have fentanyl and cocaine in her system. And there's a photo of her car, and you can clearly see looks like a flask of vodka, like a pint of vodka, a 375 of vodka or whatever. But anyway, so this guy is getting one of the last people, there we go, one of the last people to see her alive here. Salon owner she visited before crash feels guilt and anger. I'm gonna dig into this, you'll see. Richard Glass may have been the last person to see NH before she careened into a house in her car, and he is riddled with guilt because he didn't save her. He's also furious at people on social media who are blaming him. So you can see she's looking pretty trash that day. So this guy was a hairdresser, and she was in his salon, and social media is saying that he sold her the cocaine and fentanyl that were found in her system when she died, and he's saying nah. And if you look at her picture here, let's go to my quote here. Yeah, let's go to that. Yeah, bring that up. So I don't have it on screen, but it's okay. I'll read it over here. Ozzy had this good song called Flying High Again, and he describes the moment that Anne Heche is in is when you're like on a binge and you're just flying and you feel like God and everybody else is nothing. Nothing matters. And the quote is, "'Cause you can't see what my eyes see. I can see it, and you can't be inside of me flying high again." Which is how I think Anne Heche was while she was in that hair salon. Anyway, thank you. Yes. The guy feels bad for not talking her down, and but don't. If anybody knows this guy, Richard Glass, you have nothing. You're not responsible. You can't talk somebody down from a binge. She was flying high again. Oh no. Ozzy. Anne Heche, rest in peace. And I think we're all done here. Thanks for joining us. Sorry to end on a sad note there. Don't hit that yet. We're all good. Thanks for joining us. Peace.